Hi everyone and welcome back to my office. As you can probably see from some of the mess behind me, it's under construction again. I did mention at the end of my office makeover that I was going to get some new furniture, which I did, and then I had to move stuff around and now it's become a little bit of a junk storage space for the time being. But I'm going to tackle a bit of it today because I've got some really fun projects I want to share with you guys. I've also been challenged by Sunny today for their Up for Upcycling campaign to take a few furniture pieces and homeware pieces and give them a new lease of life through upcycling. For this challenge, I picked up something from the charity shop. I looked around my house and found loads of bits that I've wanted to DIY for a long time. And I was also gifted a desk from a family member that needs a bit of TLC. So let me show you guys what that looks like right now. Okay, so we're in my very messy office and I want to show you guys what I'm gonna upcycle today. So as you can see, I've got a new desk. I was gifted this desk and it's so nice because it's got some really good storage with these drawers underneath. I'm gonna paint this desk and sort it all out, change the handles because they're broken. That's project number one. Project number two is this standing lamp. I bought this at the charity shop the other day. I paid £10 for it and I love it. I think it looks really cool and very modern. I'm just gonna spray paint it and see how it goes. Let's get this out of the way so I can show you project number three. No! Okay, if it's gonna be like this, we're gonna have a day. And project number three is this pinboard. This actually used to be my grandmother's in her office and she let me have it when she retired. I already painted the outside, but I'm not really liking it. I'm going to recover the cork and paint the outside a different color. So let's jump in and see what we can do with these pieces. So that was what I was dealing with a few days ago before diving into all the upcycles and the DIYs. I do hope that some of these tips will be helpful to you guys if you're renting at the moment. I do get a lot of comments from renters asking for tips, so hopefully some of these tips will help you out. And actually, Sunny did some research that suggested that 82% of renters spend on average £880 updating a rented space, which seems like a colossal amount of money for somewhere that you're not going to live in forever and for items that you might not be able to take with you. So today I want to share DIYs and projects of things you can actually A, take with you, and B, that will save you a ton of money. Without further ado, let's jump in and I'll show you how I got started.
First up, I started with the biggest item, the desk. Once it was tidy and clutter-free, I was able to paint it with chalk paint.
I love using chalk paint for wood furniture and most furniture really. I just think it's really practical. You actually don't have to sand or prime the piece if you don't want to, as long as it's natural wood, because the chalk paint adheres really well. All you have to do is sand in between coats to get rid of any small bumps with a very light grit sandpaper, and then you can seal it with a furniture wax or a lacquer to make sure that it doesn't get any chips or scratches in it.
Once the paint was fully dry, I replaced the handles with these silver ones from Anthropology. They were £1.95 each in the sale.
This is how the desk is looking at the moment. I'm going to style the area around the desk properly, but I'm so pleased. It looks completely different. I can't even believe it actually turned out like this. I'm kind of still in a bit of shock that it turned out so nicely. This leg needs another coat. I'm coming for you.
This is what it looked like after touching up that leg, of course. Now, time to move on to the pinboard.
I'm going to make a start on the pinboard, so I'm going to use the staple gun to staple the fabric to the board. This is actually the same fabric I used in my DIY headboard in the bedroom makeover, and I had some left over and I thought it looked really nice and kind of plain and simple, so that anything I put on the board would kind of like stand out. So it's just a nice way to use up the excess fabric. While I'm doing that, I'm actually watching Kieran from Thrifted Living's video. It's her attic bedroom makeover, so I'm going to have that one in the background, looking forward to that. Let's get started.
I started by roughly measuring out how much fabric I needed and cutting off the excess, leaving about 2 inches either side. I placed the cork on top of the fabric and folded the top edge over and used a staple gun to pin the fabric in place at the back. I like to start in the middle of the fold and work my way outwards to avoid making the edges wonky. I pulled the fabric taut, pinned the other side in place, and then I was able to start on the corners. For these, I folded the fabric over into a triangular shape, pulled it over and stapled it in place.
I'm done with the board. This is what it's looking like. I'm really annoyed with myself because I didn't iron it beforehand and I've got a line going up here. But I think I'm just gonna try and cover it with like the prints and the postcards I put on here. Life hack, I'm gonna use a pull tab to stick on the back of it to hang it on the wall.
All I did to secure the drink can pull tab was add a large blob of hot glue, push the tab into it and then glue over the top of the tab too. Once it was dry, I was able to hang it on a nail on the wall, and if you're wondering what happened to the frame...
So I spray painted the original frame of the pinboard while I was doing the lamp with the same gold, but I actually feel like it looks like a little bit too much with the pinboard, so I'm going to keep the frame for something else in the house at a later date. Not right now, but the plan is maybe when I do a gallery wall, I can put this up and then have a print in the middle like that. Maybe not this one, it might be a bit too small, but just have the frame like floating around the edge. So that's just an idea for in the future, but I don't want to waste it. I think it's kind of cool.
Of course, I couldn't do a pinboard without decorating it with loads of bits and pieces. So here I'm just adding some little prints, postcards and things. I also added this mirror. This is from Flying Tiger. It was £4. I think it's really cool, but I had to screw in an actual screw into the cork board for this because it was so heavy. I messed around with the layout quite a lot, but in the end, I ended up with this pink theme that I'm really happy with.
Do you guys remember this? This pom-pom wall hanging was something I made in a DIY video about a year ago, and I love it. It's still one of my favorite pieces. So I'm gonna put it up on the wall right here.
Next up, it was time to paint the accessories. I started with the lamp as this was the biggest piece that I had left. I took it outside and gave it a good clean before painting it to remove any buildup of dirt and grime. I also removed the bulb by taking off the shade first, and then I was able to give the piece 3 to 4 light coats of gold spray paint. I actually find that it's easier to build up the paint in light coats, as this obviously prevents drips, but it takes a lot less time to dry. Once it was dry and it was back in the office, I changed the bulb to this geometric Edison style bulb. This is also from Flying Tiger. So I just found this kind of dusty old tray that I've had for about 2 or 3 years. I've been meaning to DIY it for ages, and I'm going a bit spray paint crazy, so I think I might spray paint this so that it matches with the desk. I'm thinking either gold like the lamp, or maybe like one of the colors in my calendar, like a pink or a light purple. For the tray, I actually ended up using chalk paint instead, as it started raining outside and I was not in the mood to paint in the rain. I did 2 coats and then left it dry overnight before I was able to style it. Speaking of styling, here's a little montage of how that went down. Okay, so this is the finished result. I'm so pleased with how it all turned out. It was really fun creating DIY projects for a small space like this. It kind of encouraged me to be really strict with colours and patterns so that I could create a cohesive theme in the space. I also really loved using items that were purely thrifted and gifted to me. It was nice to see the space come together knowing that I didn't need to spend that much money to update it. It was a great challenge, and all in all, I ended up spending less than £20 on all the supplies needed. 10 for the lamp and £9.95 for the drawer pulls, although I already had those in my stash, so does that really count? All the other bits were things that I already owned or had hoarded in my craft supply drawers.
That's it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it gave you a bit of inspiration for if you're renting at the moment and you want to upgrade your space on a tight budget. Also, I've actually been thinking about making a video all about renter-friendly tips, so if you'd like to see that, do let me know in the comments down below, because I know sometimes it can be really impractical to like hang things on the wall, and it just gets really frustrating when you can't decorate your space exactly how you'd like it. So yeah, let me know if you'd like to see that. And I think that's everything I have to share with you guys today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.